Let's get started, girl.
Let's get into it.
Where we gonna start? You know what? Okay, so I know just in like the little kind of like tidbits you ran through about your story, right? You talked a lot about losing people. Like there was a lot of like loss of things, like your innocence, like loss of, you know, your mother, loss of also your father, loss of your brother. Like there was a lot that you were grieving. Like talk us through like that grieving process and like how you basically managed that, like from like 7, I don't know.
You know, honestly, I can't really explain it. You just kind of have to do it. It's one of those things that you make a decision and you say, I'm just gonna do it. You know, at 7, losing my innocence. So one thing that we gotta stop doing in our community is we gotta stop sweeping stuff underneath the rug. I come from a very well-known family where I'm from. I know that it was a little embarrassing for my family, but my mother, she fought for me. She said, I don't care. This is what we doing. He gotta go. And we sweep things under the rug so much, we don't talk about it. So I felt like I did something wrong. I felt like a fast little girl. Cause you know, remembering a little bit of it, I was probably doing some fast little girl stuff or whatever you wanna call a fast little girl, I don't know. But I was sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I think so many times black women and little black girls don't get a chance to be little black girls. We have to grow up so fast in this world. And it's like, we'll see someone else doing the exact same thing and it's like, no, she fast. No, I'm a little girl being a little girl. And if I'm doing something wrong, correct me as an adult, but don't call me fast and let's move on. So I think processing that when that first happened was really hard. I had to testify against my predator. I don't really remember a lot from testifying against him. I just remember them saying, you gotta get on stand. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm 7. Years later, I have to testify against my dad once he killed my mom. My dad told me he was gonna kill my mom. So he didn't say it in those exact words, and I ain't gonna give y'all everything because y'all got to read the book.
You got to get the book, okay? When she has copies, okay.
But my dad did insinuate that he was going to murder my mother. And so when he told me, I was kind of like, okay, Dad, I was on my way to a sleepover. I ain't care. I'm trying to be with my cousins. Turn up. And then he actually did it. So the man who was protecting me when my predator abused me ended up turning into my opposition. He was my op at that point because you killed my mama. So now I got to get on stand and I have to testify against you. I remember talking to him and I said to him, you know, Daddy, why? He didn't have an answer for me. And that was very hurtful for me at 9 to process the fact that I just lost my mama and my daddy at the same time. But at a very, very young age, I knew life had to go on. And I don't know how I processed that at 9, but I did, and I kept pushing and I kept moving. So.
Thank you. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, so when you said that you asked your dad why he did it and he didn't give you an answer and that hurt you, I know a lot of times, like even if you haven't had a situation like that, there have been times and situations where you have looked for closure, like there was something that you expected to have, like it was like a relationship that you had with somebody and like it may have been going to shit and you was like, you know what, like I really feel like if I just talk to this person, if we talk this out, like I'm going to be able to get that closure. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about closure now?
So I don't think that closure is a real thing now. Mm-hmm. Because somebody can close it and it still ain't what you need. So I don't believe in closure. I believe that conversations need to be had. We need to talk about stuff. But I don't believe in closure. I never got it from my dad. And even when my dad wrote me, which my dad wrote me probably when I was 20-something, he ended up getting my address from my sister, unbeknownst to me. And he wrote me, he just Jesus and God taught me. I couldn't even read. I was just like, what is, it was just God. And I remember I responded back to him and I wrote one word, why? Because that's what I want to know, why. Like, what was your reason? So I don't believe in closure. I just don't think that that's a real thing. I think you have to close it yourself. You can't expect it from nobody else.
Absolutely. I also don't believe in closure. FYI, I feel like it's a way for us to linger on with a situation that we're not ready to let go of, but we need to let go of, right? And you mentioned the God talk. Now I know, like, some people probably was like, we might have some super spiritual or religious people in here that may be like, what does the God talk mean, like in terms of like how he was God talking you?
So I am a person who is extremely spiritual, and I do believe that God lives within, right? I do, absolutely. So if God lives within, we're supposed to be in the image of God. That's what the Bible says. Now, I'm not a Bible person, but I don't want to fight. So I feel like when he was God talking to me, it was just him saying, well, God gonna make it better. God gonna fix it. God gonna come through. And while I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe in God, absolutely, I know that there is a higher source, a higher power. We would not be here without the Most High. I do think there's a point in life where we have to take accountability and do things on our own. We got to do the work first, because what they say, faith without work is dead. So, okay. We got to do the work. So we can't put everything on God. God gonna fix it, but what you gonna do?
Right.
God gonna make a way, but what you gonna do? So it was just so much God talk. God. And I'm like, but what about you? Because you did this. So what about you? Where's your accountability?
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure that we talked about that so we could clarify that for the room.
Clarity.
Okay, clarity.
Praise God. I believe in him. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I wouldn't be here today. I believe in God, absolutely.
So, also, like, how did it feel to be betrayed by somebody that you really, like, trusted? Like, you trusted this man to protect you, and he took away the most important person to you. But he was also supposed to be a very important person to you. So, like, how did it feel? Like, did you still have love for him? And, like, how did that coexist with, like, the hurt and the pain that you were also feeling, and the anger, I would imagine?
So it was so many different stages of it. Initially, I was mad. I lost both of my parents at the exact same time. I lost him, I lost her together. And so I was really mad at him. I felt betrayed, but more so than anything, I felt unprotected at that moment. I felt alone. And so I felt like, you gonna leave me here by myself. You didn't care about me. And I have siblings. So I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. One of my brothers did commit suicide. Though they are all my father's children. So I felt like you took my mama and let them keep their mama. So now you my op. I don't like you. And it took me a really, really long time to let go of the hurt from that, because I had to realize that that wasn't something for me. That was him. He gonna have to deal with that at the end, not me. And it took a really, really long time, because I felt like if I love him, because I really do. Even now, I do love my dad. I loved my dad. I was a daddy's girl. My daddy used to braid my hair. He used to do everything for me. He used to make me laugh. He was so funny. And then it was like, you do this? So it did hurt, and I did feel betrayed, but I also knew that at a very young age, I think I knew that something else was wrong. Like, I knew he had something else as well. So when we got to talk about generational trauma too, so you unload what happened to you onto your children, and that's what he did. And so it was like, in a way, I kind of felt sorry for him too, because I was like, dang, you don't even got no self-control. I said that, and I was 9. Like, you don't even have no self-control. Because my mama left, finally. That wasn't the first time my dad tried to kill my mama. He tried to kill her when she was 16. He went to her school, and he shot a coach in the heart. The coach still has the bullet in his heart to this day, but he is alive. I think if they remove it, something will happen. But he did go to the school to shoot the coach. He was originally sentenced to 55 years. My mama, a victim, she fought to get him out of prison. He served 1 year and did 7 years of parole.
And then I know in your book you talked about, like, the like recreating these patterns and like these curses and stuff, like following your like mom's footsteps, your dad's footsteps. Like, so how did that play out in like your relationships as you got older?
I had unhealthy relationships all the way up until I met my husband. So every relationship was toxic. Every relationship was unhealthy. I didn't know what real love looked like. I thought real love meant you gotta fight. You gotta fight for it. You gotta fight for love. You gotta fight. And then when I met my husband, it was like, hold on. I ain't gotta fight. I ain't gotta, you ain't gonna, we ain't gotta tussle. I remember my husband telling me, Bonita, I'm not your enemy. And I was like, oh, you're right, okay. You're not my enemy, but it was a really, really hard adjustment. It was hard for me to, and I think we've all been there. All of us as women, we've done something for a man that we wouldn't normally do. We've, so then add a little bit of trauma to that. Add a little bit of, you don't really know who you are today. And you gonna just keep doing, excuse me, elder, shit and shit and shit. And that's just what it's gonna be. And so it was just, in my adult relationships, all I was doing was creep. I was literally in a relationship, the relationship that I do talk about in the book, I was literally in a relationship with my dad. Mm-hmm. That was my daddy. That was my dad. I remember being choked out one night. I talk about it in the book a little bit. He choked me out one night, and he choked me out because I saw him in my house with a woman. And he choked me out, and I woke up and I said, when he choked me out, he was kind of patting my face real light, because he thought I was dead. So he kind of like, and I just looked up at him and I was like, you just like my daddy. That was like the moment that I knew, but I ain't leave.
Why is it so hard to leave abusive situations?
The number one reason, because I am now an advocate for domestic violence, so the number one reason is because women are afraid. That's the number one reason. They're afraid of what their life is going to look like after that. Oh, I can't, embarrassment. I can't tell my family that this been happening to me. I can't tell nobody what's been going on. And that's really the number one reason. They're afraid. They're scared. Most times, abusers will intimidate you into believing that they're going to kill you. Now, if you've ever been in a situation with somebody and they told you they was going to kill you or I love you to death, believe them, because they will. It's something inside of them. It's a glitch, and they mean it. And I know a lot of times people are like, that ain't real. No, they will. If they say that they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Because if you wouldn't do something, you wouldn't even think it.
Right.
And I know we have intrusive thoughts sometimes, but something like that, okay, no.
So I want to go back to these unhealthy relationships, right? Like, how many people done crashed out over somebody? Let me see no hand. Now I know it's more crash outs in here. Don't even play. I know it's more crash. You know what? If you gotta ask, you will crash out. You will crash out if you gotta ask. Okay. Let me tell y'all. I've done some things.
We done did some things
that I'm not proud of. I've become investigator. Okay. I've become Sherlock Keisha Holmes.
P.I.
Okay? I've become a private investigator. I've done everything, okay? Pulled up. I used to not be a pull-up girly, but there was this one person that would make me pull up, and it wasn't even him. I don't know why I'm lying. It was me. It was me. And that's one of the things that I did love about reading your book is that you took accountability for your own actions. It wasn't just, like, even though, yes, somebody made you feel that way, it was like you took ownership of your emotions, of your actions, and like how you portrayed them. Like, how did you shift that mindset to be able to do that?
So one thing that I think we all have to do is just hold ourselves accountable. We're going to all mess up. That's the human experience, right? We're going to all mess up. We're going to all do something we ain't supposed to do. We're going to all tell a little lie. We're going to all act a little bad. But if it's your shit, clean it up. If it's yours, clean it up. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Taking accountability meant that I was getting ready to change my life. Because when I wasn't accountable, I was still stuck in the same place that I had always been in. Then when I started holding myself accountable, it was like, oh, wait. You know what? Remember when you did that, girl? And I like talking to myself. I don't know if y'all like talking to y'all self, but I love talking to myself. I be in the mirror like, girl, you so raggedy. Why you do that? Get up. Why you, girl? So that was just really what it was. Just holding myself accountable and saying, you know what, Bonita, if you want better, you're gonna have to do better. If you do what you always did, you're gonna get what you always got. So change that, and I did. Now it took a little minute. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. I was reading the book. I was like, oh, it's taking a while, but we gonna get there. I know.
Girl. You know what? I like to laugh at my younger self because I really thought, I'm 38 by the way. So in my early 20s, I really thought that I knew you couldn't tell me that I didn't know about love, life. He loved me, girl. What you talking about? He was just fucking with them girls. He was gonna get right back. No ma'am. No ma'am. So I think we have this thing of convincing ourselves that something is what it ain't. If it looked like a duck and it walked like a duck, it damn sure ain't a rabbit. It's a duck. Take it for what it is. It's a damn duck. Like, and I know we want to change men and we want to make them better to fit what we think they should be. But if I'm meeting you as you are and you meeting me as I am, then what we doing? You got to work and I got to work. Mm-hmm. Go back in the cubby. I'm going to come back too. And that's okay. I think we get so invested in trying to make the right person fit. Mm-hmm. Instead of just letting what is supposed to be. Because what is meant for you will always be for you. Can't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody change it. It's yours.
Yeah. I know when you were talking about like the effort to try to make things fit, right? You mentioned, now I was reading the book now, and you mentioned, you mentioned that you would get in competition with other women because you felt like if you was the better woman, it didn't matter what else happened because he was always going to come back. And I know that I've had that mentality before. I don't know who else has had that mentality before. I won't admit it.
All of us.
But
she ain't as pretty as me. I don't like what she got on. You picked her. Yeah, he picked her. She was doing something you wasn't. Like, and I think we just get so, I was in so much competition with other women for the approval of the man that I was with that I lost who I was. I lost who I was. I'm trying to seek validation in them, and I ain't even looking for it in me. Like, girl, get up. You know, so it was really one of those situations. I know we've all done it. Don't blame the woman. Mm-hmm. One thing that I did do with all of the women, we all had talks. I knew about them, they knew about me. Because you know when you know, don't we, girls? Huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We know. You know when your man doing something. You know when he got something going on. You know when something different. And I remember when I confronted the girl, you know, she got a little smart with me in the bathroom. And I was like, girl, I will beat you up in here. And we did eventually fight. I fought the girl about 4 times, y'all.
She did.
Oh, God, I was ridiculous. I fought her so much. Every time I saw her, I fought her. About a man that we were both. He was our man. He was. And every time I saw her, girl, I'm going to fight you. It was ridiculous. And I think that was also rooted in me looking at my mama, right? My mama, she was just always down for my daddy. My dad had so many mistresses. I saw all of them. He took me with him. So it was always this thing to me like, well, if I'm the number one girl, if I'm number one, then what are you? Number 2. That's it. You just number 2 or 3 or 4. So I think we get so caught up in what the woman is doing and we focus our attention on the wrong person. Focus it on your man. She don't owe you a thing. Nothing. So.
Whew, okay, so I don't want to tell y'all about the book because I feel like you should buy the book, okay? Because it is a great book.
There are books for sale today, so
it was literally giving like true crime meets TV drama meets reality TV. I was like, I don't even do reality TV, but I was locked in, okay? I was like, doctor, come on in for this appointment so I can finish reading. Like, are you done? Are you done with the checkup? But like, there was something else I was about to ask you. You know what? Do we have any questions in the audience? Any questions? Don't be shy.
Y'all can ask me
And don't be
anything.
scared.
I'm an open book. I wrote one.
Oh, we got, yes, ma'am.
That's a great question. I knew about a girl that he had been dealing with. I knew about her for a really, 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 really long time. And so it's so crazy because it's always that one little thing. It could be something so small. Y'all remember when it's a movie, y'all might not know, but it's a movie where this wife, her husband had been smoking. And she kept asking him, are you smoking? You smoking? He like, no, 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 no. And she ended up finding out that he was smoking. She found out he was cheating. She forgave him for cheating. But when she found out he lied to her about smoking, she ended up saying, I'm done with this. Like, it was just something so simple as that. And it was something as simple as me finding out that the other woman wrote him a letter. And I said, you know what? I'm done. And I just was done. It was like an aha moment, a light switched. Once I realized that I was done, I knew that it was time for me to put in the work to fight for myself. Fighting for myself meant having hard conversations, doing some shadow work, calling myself raggedy in the mirror about 20 times a day. I just really dug into myself. And you know, another thing that I was still. I didn't move. I gave myself the time to really just chill and be like, okay, because I'm always on the go. I'm a road runner. Even now, I live in Charleston, so I just be road running. And I made the decision to say, it's me now. I gotta fight for me, because if I don't, I'm going to die. I literally said it, I'm gonna die if I don't fight for myself. Right now, today, I am going to be a statistic. I'm gonna be like my mother. When my mom first was murdered, the statistics for me were pregnant by 18, don't graduate high school. Those were the two statistics based off of what happened in my life. I beat those odds, and then I turn around and get into this abusive relationship that almost killed me. So I said to myself, Bonita, you either gonna live or you gonna die. And I chose to live. And I just went from there. I did everything. I was doing shadow work. I began to meditate. The first time I meditated, I went to sleep. Out. Knocked. I went to sleep immediately. I didn't understand it. I wasn't ready. When I was ready to receive it, it became my medicine. And so that's really what I did to move forward and to heal myself. I took accountability. I didn't blame anybody else for everything that has happened to me, because sometimes we can do that. Oh, you did this to me. You cheated on me. Well, what you do when they cheated? Okay. You did this to me. So I just took the blame game out of it, and I started to blame myself for the shortcomings that I had in my own life, and not anybody else. Thank you. That was a great question.
You had one more? Yes, Liz?
So, yes. Forgiveness does not mean that I gotta deal with you. It don't mean that you have to be in my airspace. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that I forgive you, because one day I might need to be forgiven for something. So let me forgive you, because it's not my cross to carry. I carried the cross of my dad murdering my mother for so long. I carried that with me everywhere that I went. My dad killed my mom. This on me, this on me. And then eventually I said, I gotta let this go. This isn't for me. It would be times when I'll be like, okay, I forgave him. Then I get so mad at him. I'm in a place now where I have a son that I had. Shannon is 5. And he's shown me so much about what life looks like and how you're supposed to treat your children and just what you're supposed to do to help your child. And if I made a mistake as a parent, I would want to be forgiven by him because I love him that much. I had to put myself in my dad's shoes for a second. A very, very hard thing to do. Extremely hard to do. To say, I have to have empathy for the man who killed my mama. I have to give him grace. Because why? Now, is he still my op? Absolutely. But I forgive you. I just ain't got to deal with you. It's not a requirement for me to deal with you. I don't have any desire to have you in my life or my child's life or anybody. So I wish you the life that you deserve. And I'm done. And that was really that. And it was very easy for me to move on once I realized that it wasn't my burden to carry anymore. I feel so much lighter now because of that. Oh, I am an advocate for therapy. Absolutely. I'm an advocate for therapy. I didn't know this, but when I was 9, my aunt wanted to get me in therapy. And I said, that's for crazy people. Because that's what I thought. Crazy people go to therapy, right? Well, what you mean? Well, being black in America, first of all, we all need therapy, okay? With a trauma like that, going to therapy changed my life. Black people, get therapy. Don't let nobody call you crazy. Don't let nobody tell you that you get therapy. It helps. So absolutely. I went to therapy and I'm an advocate for therapy. I actually am getting ready to go back to therapy now. This is the first time in my life that I've ever told my story so much. And it's a lot. Because not only is it a lot, but people unload on me too. That's what I'm here for. I realize that's my purpose, right? But people unload on me and I listen and I take it all in. I have so many stories inside of me because people come to me and feel like I can relate to you, and I love that. I welcome that. But because of that, I absolutely need to go to therapy to keep my headspace clear. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh Lord. Thank you. Y'all got me popping out.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show.
Some mama pop out. Okay.
Do we have any more questions?
I got this. I'm about to cry.
Girl, you about to make me cry.
I tell my 7-year-old self that a lot. My 7 and my 9-year-old self. Everything that I do now is for them. They were stripped. Their innocence was taken. And I know that they are inside of me. So even when I was here and we were meditating, I kept saying, I'm doing this for us. I got us. I got us. We did it. We wasn't supposed to be here. So I always talk to my younger selves. I write my younger selves. I talk to my younger selves. I tell them, like, look at us now. And the number one thing that I always tell my younger self is, I will protect you forever. I will never not let you be protected again. I fight for that. I honor that because I was stripped of my childhood very, very early. I've been an adult since I was 7. In real time, my life was just totally different. I was talking to my friend and I was saying, she was like, well, you know, we were having this conversation about people and stuff that they was doing as kids and lifestyles. And I was like, y'all was on the playground and I was waking up every day saying, where's my dad? Where's my mom? I didn't have that opportunity. So while I wasn't an adult, I felt that way because I felt like kids have parents. So I know I'm not an adult, but I know I'm not a kid either. So I would definitely tell my 7-year-old self, my 9-year-old self, which I say anyway, I got us. I got us. And I do, and I love it. And I love that I'm letting them experience this because there is a side of me that is still a little 7 and 9-year-old. It is. So, y'all got good questions.
Okay.
We getting deep.
We got some more.
See, y'all getting in my business now.
You up here for us to get in your business, girl.
Hold on now. I'm gonna be very, very organic in this moment. I recently had an issue with children in my family that are, we've had some recent issues that I've had to correct. I don't play about my child. When it comes to him, and my oldest as well, but he's 17, so he got his. But when it comes to Channing, I don't play. I will yank him from any body, person, where I do not feel like he's protected. My trauma has not only opened my eyes to something that most people don't see, but it has also given me the space to show empathy, and I know that might. So while I empathize, I don't play. And so I had to yank him out of a situation that was really hurtful to me. I'm kind of going through a little family situation right now because of that. And I don't think that people really understood where I was coming from initially, and I didn't care. It didn't matter because I know what it looks like to have that trauma. I dare not. I work so hard to make sure that my child lives the best. I mean, he lives the best life. It makes me so happy that, sometimes he be bossing me around and I be laughing because I be like, girl, you gonna do it anyway. I do it because he be like, well, mommy, turn the light off. Mommy, can you cover me? Sure, baby. I want his life to be, because what I experienced as a child was so different. It was so chaotic and it was so gruesome. I watched my daddy do so much stuff to my mama. Y'all remember them big wooden tables? Kind of like this, but they was brown. Back in the day, your grandmama and them had. My daddy lifted that up. Me and my mom was sitting on the couch. He lifted that up and threw it above us. It fell on our heads. Hit her first, hit me. And I'm like, dang, daddy, like, you that mad? We don't argue in front of Channing. If me and my husband got something to say, we got loud in front of him one time, and I remember looking at my husband and saying, don't you ever. And he kind of knew, like, you right. And it was just one of those moments. I don't play. When it comes to him, I'm very protective. I can sniff it out. I know what a predator looks like. I do. I know what they look like. I know how they smell. All of that. Because I remember what my predator looked like, what he smelled like. I can go right back to it. I'm 38. That happened when I was 7. I dare not ever let my child experience that. So that's how I handle it. I don't play. And I'll beat anybody up. Go to jail, hell, to the mail. I don't care. Whatever. I'm doing it for Channing, and Corday. So that's just how I feel about my children.
I think we had a few more questions.
Whenever they ready. We have a very open policy in my home. It's very much, I'm a millennial. Any millennials in the building? We breaking generational curses, and we really just changing the trajectory of the way that things were when we were born and raised. So I would let my oldest son, he actually ready. He's 17. And I think now he kind of be looking at me sometimes like, are you real? But it's me, it's my life. And I want them to know who I am and what I am and how much I fought to be here, so that when you see me, you know that you can get through anything. Can't nobody stop you from doing anything that you want to do. This is a dream, by the way, y'all. For me to be right here in front of y'all, I manifested this a long time ago to just really change the world with my story, because I know that people need to hear it. We all have to heal. It's so much trauma that we all dealt with that we don't talk about, that we've put on the back burner. You know, when you put some trauma in the back of your mind, it seemed like it didn't happen, but it did. And you gotta face it, and you gotta, speak on it head on. And I'm all for encouraging people to call out the predators, call them all out. You don't have to run from them. You don't have to hide from them. You are safe. You are free now. And they have no no hold over you. So if anybody has experienced that in the building, don't run from it. Call it out. It don't matter. Call it out. So yeah, I will let whenever he want to read it, he think he be reading it now. And he really just be telling us a story about his day. But that's a little 5-year-old, so yeah. And the fact that he gets to experience me having book signings and Mommy's an author. One day he told me, Mom, it's about time for you to go sell some more books. You right, son. You right. So yeah. Yes, ma'am. I was. My mother's only child, and different women with each child except for the twins. I don't really have a relationship with my siblings, really. I tried really hard. I'm the youngest, but you would think I'm the oldest.
Okay.
I tried. I did so much stuff to try to get us together, to do this, to do that. My oldest sister, she actually called me one day after I was meditating. She called me, and it was so funny. It was a full moon. It was, we just had a solar eclipse, and my phone rang. My phone goes on D&D at 8 o'clock. So when it rang, it kept ringing. And I was like, this is a number that I don't know. It was her. And while I thought the conversation was going to be constructive, it was more of a blame game. Like, well, if you see somebody calling you from a number you don't know. I'm like, girl, what you mean? And it's like, it's been that way. So I wanted to have a relationship with my siblings. I still do. Siblings, if you're listening, I love y'all. I'm here and I'm open, but I just don't have a relationship with them. I mean, I'm Facebook friends with 2 of them, but they'll talk around me. So say, for instance, somebody posts happy birthday to me. Instead of them saying happy birthday directly to me, they'll say it on their page. Stuff like that. So I don't really have a relationship with them. I wish that I did. My oldest brother, he was my best friend. We talked in 2018. I thought we was going to change and get on the same trajectory. Didn't happen. And so I kind of got tired of getting disappointed. So I let it go. And I still love them. So siblings, if y'all listening, I love y'all. Get it together.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Yes, ma'am.
Healing is a journey. So I'm going to keep writing. I've always been a writer. But in order for me to write the stories that people could understand and receive, I had to tell mine first. So I'm going to continue to write. Me and my husband are actually coming out with a kid's book. My husband's a barber. So we're going to be coming out with a kid's book about a barber that shaves the day, saves the day. That's going to be our next project. Something a little lighter because this was a little dark. And then I'm just going to keep writing. I'm going to keep doing these types of things. I have so much stuff that's actually going on. A lot of doors have opened. Ultimately, though, I really want to make my book a movie. I don't know how I got the movie, but I felt like it just gave movie. It gave movie, right, Fantasy?
Yes. It's giving limited series on Netflix.
And that's, so I really do want to do that, but that's just so that I can help the world change. I want the world to just heal. And I feel like if you see me, you can do it too, no matter what it looks like, because we all have a story, right? It's just up to us to tell it. And I tell people all the time, share your stories. You don't know who you can help. I don't care what the story is. You don't know who you can save and who you can help. So share your stories. So that's what's in the works for me. I'm just out here on vibes, being a creative, loving life, loving family, loving people, loving y'all. Y'all are so beautiful out here tonight. And I'm just happy to be in this space, for real.
Let's give a round of applause for Bonita Renea, baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.